can see the ozone hole is the purples, blues, and getting down to black.
The curriculum buyout strategy enables gifted students to test out of entire grade-level units of study. This differentiation strategy frees highly capable students to research and explore topics of interest in depth.
And that's if the east sheet of Antarctica melted. And as you can see, a tiny bit of our land will be underwater. This is what happened if the west sheet melted. Basically,
the concept of buyout is extremely popular with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders because they truly have learned to work on longer-term assignments. They have time management skills, and that organization will be important.
Okay, so I just passed out to you your new Levers and Pulleys science journals.
Teachers can choose to introduce curriculum buyout opportunities to individual students or to the entire class.
Week, I'm going to give you the opportunity in the classroom to try to buy out of the unit if you think you already know it. I'm going to go over with you today the requirements for getting out of the unit, what the unit is exactly about so you can make that educated decision, not just make a decision. And I'm also going to show you what you will be doing instead of the science unit with the rest of the class.
I think it is very important to really be organized when you begin to give students the opportunity to buy out of curriculum. As a teacher, a week prior to the time that I plan to teach the unit, I have to have my materials ready because I'm going to allow those students to actually learn information ahead of time. Giving students a study guide or essential questions and letting them look at those questions ahead help students begin to say, what do I know, or what do I have the wherewithal to learn quicker than it's going to be taught? During the next week, those students will actually learn that information without you. So any handouts you plan to use, any resources, should be made available to those students.
In front of you on the first page is the objectives for the unit, what you were supposed to know by the end. I'd like you to take a couple minutes and just look through those objectives, and you can put a check mark next to it if you think you already know this material.
Science and social studies are great beginning places. Most texts will have those essential questions or those key learnings that you want to cover during that unit of study. Most texts will also have some sort of assessment that will go right along with that. If this is the first time that you've attempted to use buyout within your classroom, my recommendation is to start with just one subject and do it once during the year, because what you begin to learn is amazing ways that you want to refine this the next time.
You will need to get an 80% on the end of the unit test now.
Gifted parents absolutely love this strategy when they know about it. So when you offer this to students, make sure that the parents also are getting notification.
Nicole.
What types of projects are we allowed to do if we try this?
Good question. So you can do either an experiment, you develop an experiment using the scientific method, or an investigation, which would be a research project on a topic.
Teachers have great latitude in being able to allow students to self-select their project. Some teachers choose to keep their students within the topic and have them develop more depth within that topic. Other teachers just stay within the content area. Some teachers, however, say that students can buy time out and study any content area they're interested in.
In your small groups, talk about what you think a lever is. Try to come up with a quick definition.
On the first day of the new science unit, Melissa takes time to help her one buyout student structure his independent project.
So then I want you to develop a question that you're interested in and do some background research first and identify the problem you wish to explore. Ask a clear, specific, testable question. So what I want you to do right now today is come up with your clear, specific question. Write it down for me right now. I'm going to come back and check on you to see what you've decided over the weekend, what you thought was an interesting topic for your science study, okay?
Okay.
If you get done with that and I'm still not over here, you can start working on your goal for learning. Your goal for learning is going to be what you hope to learn from doing this experiment and answering this question, and what you're going to present to the class to teach them about this topic, okay?
Gifted students truly need structure. First and foremost, they have to have a plan. What is your purpose? What are the steps to get there? And what is your product going to look like is very important that we do that with our students.
Okay, so what question did you come up with?
Came up with a question: what are the simple machines and some more complex machines, such as a backhoe or excavator, and where are they located? Pretty much what I'm going to do is take pictures of these complex machines and then break them down into the categories of simple machines, such as Class 1 levers, Class 2 levers, and Class 3 levers, and pulleys, and show where they're located.
Were they located in
Yeah.
the more complex
Yes.
machines? Okay. Are you going to do other types of simple machines as well, like wheels and axles or screws?
Well, maybe. Let me think about that, but there's a good chance.
I think that this isn't enough of a project for 3 weeks. I would like you to maybe consider at least doing one example from each type of simple machine. So let's write that down real quick. What kinds of simple machines are there? For my students that test out, mostly my assistance is in guidance and support. At the beginning, I really help them focus in on what their question is. What are the simple machines and some more complex machines? Who invented them?
And
When? And I set them up for the timeline of when things are going to be turned in. I want to have your research by Thursday the 2nd done.
This initial meeting is tightly focused on launching a meaningful and successful project.
Those interesting. This one might be particularly for levers and pulleys to get you started. And then you also have the laptop
okay.
to start Googling and doing some research on
I'll
library pages.
also be able to use it to type up what I found.
Yes, and I'd like you to be working on your plan and your timeline for me. Today's Friday, so we've got some more things due next Thursday, right? So I just want to make sure you're on track. So how are you doing? I have them check in with me throughout the course of the project. So you've got your learning goal, your
Yes.
question, your
And
hypothesis, and
and
then
resources.
it's very independent, and they're responsible for getting the things done that they told me they would get done by the date that it's due. And if they're having trouble with that, they know they need to let me know or go to the patent office too. They probably have schematics for those things as well. Does that make sense?
Curriculum buyouts can involve more than one student. When that's the case, Melissa clusters those learners during unit lessons.
How's it going over here?
I can't figure out how to present my information.
So you're
Grouping the students makes it easier and more time efficient to check in and provide help.
okay. So I think for your presentation purposes, I would think that a table in one slide would be most effective. If you put it all on one screen, they can just kind of compare and contrast.
Cluster seating also makes it far more likely that buyout students will look to each other for assistance.
Gifted students need to be nose to nose, eye to eye with other students who have the same intellectual ability that they have. This provides that sort of opportunity during the day.
We could probably rebuild New York and DC, but a lot farther inland. Well, actually, they would still be on the coast, but it would be a new coast.
All curriculum buyouts culminate in class presentations that make students' extended learning available to everyone else in the room.
Supposed to be 1 to 9. That is one longitude, latitude reading in Dobson units. And I then put all that into Excel and got these results.
I've seen things where my jaw has dropped from presentations that went so far beyond what I could ever expect a 6th grader to do.
My question was, how does the speed of a motor increase relative to the number of coils it has and the number of volts it is powered with?
I can see their learning going from that basic knowledge level to that high level thinking. I hear them taking in information and thinking about it and then putting it back out into the world with their own spin and their own thought on it.
Why do you think that the 70 coils beat the 80 coils at 4.5 volts?
Well, my estimate would probably be because there was less friction. I also needed to change the contacts because they were literally burning away. So the 80 coil motor was, since it was at the end of the experiment, probably had not so good contacts.
Curriculum buyouts are uniquely suited to the needs of highly gifted learners.
Kids really are happy when they get to pursue something that is enjoyable to them, and all the other students benefit from it.
Thomas Edison once said, if we did the things we were capable of, we'd astound ourselves. And I often think that this is what happens in a differentiated classroom, where students are actually performing, actually learning at their instructional level. We often see them astound themselves, but they need great teaching. They need that teacher who's going to let them see what they're capable of by providing opportunities.
You can really visualize that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when given the opportunity, gifted students have amazed me. You know, it is so inspiring.
My experiment was that I took all the common greenhouse gases.
I've just seen so many things where if they're given the chance, they show you what they can do. They show you what they know, and they are up to the challenge. They're ready to go with it.
They really do deserve teachers who say, here it is, it's out here, I'm going to give you product choices, I'm going to give you ideas. It's up to you to show me what you're capable of.
Would you like to do this, or would you like to continue doing this?
Probably that.
Yeah, I think you would too.